Alrighty. Actually, I might pause it while I'm marking the roll. I'm just going to resume recording here. So we're on the home page at the moment. We want to create a scatter plot. Now it says here, the data below shows the marks that 10 students obtained on an exam and the time they spent studying. So there's two ideas there that we can identify. What are they in this sentence? You can type in the chat, or you can unmute and answer. What two ideas do you see in here? The marks obtained by 10 students. Yep, that's the first idea. So marks that are obtained by 10 students. So I've got marks. And the time spent studying. Thank you, Emma. Time they spent studying. Okay. And that there is also reflected in our table here. You see the time is in pink. If we can tell the difference in those colors there, hopefully it shows up nicely. Pink and purple for those two ideas. Now, first of all, just before we start typing this into the CAS, I want to ask you what you think the explanatory variable and which one you think the response variable will be. And type it in the chat. Is the time the response variable? Or is it the explanatory variable? Okay. Very good. Emma, Daniel, Maddie, explanatory variable. Fantastic, Maddie. Awesome. Yep. Looking great. Okay. So we've got the time is the explanatory variable. I'm just going to write it out like this. EV. And our response variable, RV, for our mark. So there we go, time. And so your understanding shows me that you have done some of the work, or you've completed 7A and had time to kind of soak that in as well. Good, great. So we know that time should be on the horizontal or the vertical axis. Time, should it be on the horizontal or vertical? Just double checking here. Thanks, Uma. Thanks, Daniel. Some good responses coming through. And even if it's being sent to everyone, at least you can see, okay? And consider and have a look and think about it as well. All right, so we're all about that sharing. Marks on the vertical axis. Yeah, you took that extra step as well. Fantastic, Gordon. It's on the horizontal axis, correct? Because you can see the E there. We've got the horizontal line. Sharing is caring. Yes, here.
Why is everyone saying the word and not the actual letter?
Sorry?
Why are they saying the word and not the letter? I don't like that.
What do you mean?
Like X and Y sounds more sophisticated, you know?
But is it always X and Y in this case? Just curious.
The axis is, yeah. The axis
Do we call it,
on a graph is always X and Y.
Is it always X and Y? Are you sure?
Horizontal refers to Y. X refers to her. Wait, what did I say? Horizontal is X, vertical is Y.
Yep.
Yeah.
But what if we have different ideas though?
What do you mean?
Like, do we have X and Y in this question here?
No, but that's the name of the axis. You can label it something else, but that's what the axis always is.
Okay. You can, yeah, you can definitely label it X and Y. but just make sure that you change it so it fits the context.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can label this as X, you can label this as Y, but when you go to actually draw up your graph, don't put X and Y on the axes.
That's no,
Okay.
no, that's not what I'm saying. Hold on, sorry about it.
Horizontal, vertical. We'll use horizontal and vertical for this one. Yeah, for this chapter here. If we were talking about linear graphs, linear modeling back in semester 1, you know, with Y equals A plus BX or AX plus B, whichever version we had a look at. In that case there, we would use X and Y. So really good question though. Okay, so let's have a look now at constructing this graph. We'll put in the data first. So I'm opening up the list and spreadsheets. It's this green one down here at the bottom. Before I start typing in the numbers here, what do I do? What should we do?
Write the
Name.
labels
Type in
at
the
the
chat.
top.
Name, labels. Thanks, Teresa. Thanks, Matt. Awesome. So what should we put here? We're going to do time first. We'll prioritize this one. So we'll type T I M E and you press enter. You go down and then you can start typing the numbers. Okay. 4, 36, 23, 19, 1, 11, 18, 13, 18, and 8. How do I know that I've typed this in correctly or that I've typed everything in? Gordon, thank you. You wrote label there in the chat as well. Fantastic. How do I know how many, if I've typed it in all correctly?
Look at how much data values there are and go over it again
Correct.
if you like, if you want to triple check.
Yeah, good idea. So you can see here we've got 10 values and it did say that we were looking at 10 students. All right, now let's type in the second idea, the second column, mark. How do I get back to the top really quickly?
Isn't that control 7?
Yeah.
Control 7, correct. Yep. That's equivalent to page up. So we've just gotten back to row 1. So now we can go back up and label the other column. Mark. Press enter. And go down one box. We don't want to type anything in there. I'm going to type in the numbers. 37, 67, 62, 23, 52, 61, 43, 65, and 52. Whew. Can I just get a thumbs up?
Instead of 43.
Did I?
Yeah.
Mistakes were made. Thank you. I better go through and check. The rabbit and the turtle. 61. Zero hours of study, 100% mark. Can I get a thumbs up if you understand Mr. Musgrove's joke? Oh, burn. Fair point, Uma. Fair point. All right. So now we've got all this data in. Can I just get a oh, burn, savage.
Matthew's put his own one in.
No, I was just correcting yours. See how there's a asterisk there?
Completely an outlier. Ooh, fun. All right. Can I get a thumbs up if everyone's typed all the data in? Let's get a show of hands. Gordon, Daniel, Maddie, Teresa, thank you. Who else? Karate, Mr. Musgrove, Arafat. Awesome, Arafat. Pause. Haley, Zach, Matt, thank you. Haley, Zach, force. Yusuf. All right, now we're going to take this data here and we want to create a scatter plot. So here it says in our instructions, use a calculator to construct a scatter plot. And now notice here, if we didn't, like we had to find out what we wanted our explanatory variable to be, but sometimes if you read ahead, you can actually discover here that it says use time as your explanatory variable. Now remember the E here on explanatory, the horizontal line there. Thank you, Mr. Vish. Make sure you got that horizontal line in on that E so we know that the E has to go on the bottom. Let's go open up a scatter plot here. So we're going to go Control Doc to open a new page, data and statistics. And remember in univariate data, we had to go to the axis, click, and then choose. So for the bottom one, we want to choose time. Now, because it's bivariate data, we also need to put in the other idea as well, which was mark. So I'll go click here, we'll go mark. And you can see that it pulls all the values up to where it's supposed to be. So all of these here represent coordinates. And you can see in Mr. Musgrove and Matthew's example before, they wrote, how did they write their answers? Or how did they write their values? Did they write time equals and mark equals, or did they just write something else? What do we call it when we write down
Coordinates.
coordinates? Okay. So this is a good way to summarize the data rather than saying, you know, time equals 0 hours, mark equals 100%. It's too long to write out. Oh, sorry. I jumped to that. We can summarize it as a coordinate nice and swiftly. So it's about being efficient right there. Maths is about efficiency. Okay, so can I just get a thumbs up if you've got this scatter plot out, please? Daniel, Gordon, Zach, Matt, awesome. Teresa, Haradi, Haley, Grace, awesome. Looking good. Somebody's here to join the party. Buddha is here. Looking good. Buddha, are you there? I don't know how to get it. Okay.
Sir,
Yes. Hi,
I'm
Huda.
like-
How are you?
I'm kind of like doing my English sack, so I'll be back in like 10 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah,
I'll just
okay.
stand. Well, like, yeah.
Yep, you can chuck yourself on mute and then just let us know. Who's that? Hi. I'll do this. Perhaps. Oh, awesome. Awesome. If you didn't feel like you understood, or if you weren't able to create this, remember this is being recorded. It's going to be uploaded on YouTube, so you can always go back to this lesson and watch it again. Okay. So we'll move on now. I want us to go to question number 4 straight away. Now, do we have to construct a scatter plot here or no? Have a read through. I'll give you some time to have a read. Familiarize yourself with the question. And feel free to type into the chat. I'm just going to change it to message to host only. Feel free to type in the chat what your answers will be for part A, part B, and part C. But don't forget to read the top part as well. The scatter plot shown. Constructed from data collected to investigate the relationship between the amount of sleep the night before a test and also the number of mistakes they make on the test. Excellent, Danny. Thank you, Matt. Correct, Yusuf. That's right, Teresa. We don't need a scatter plot. Okay, awesome, Danny. That's it. So in terms of note taking, you can always like take down notes afterwards. Just focus on typing and answering the question so I can give you direct feedback. Aha. What happened there on the screen? Did everyone see that? Somebody put a blue line. What does the blue line mean?
Using the scatter plot.
Yep. But why did we choose blue specifically?
I never learned this. Oh well, I did. I just don't never remember it.
Yep. In terms, we don't need the scatter plot. That's correct, Maddie. See if you can answer the questions A, B, and C now. Correct, Danny? It's annotations. Okay, so we are annotating. And Mr. Musgrove said here, it's the circumstances. Okay. So we are this blue section here. Use the scatter plot. So this is what we need to use. We need to use the scatter plot. We don't have to create it because it's already given to us. We just have to read it off here. Okay. Correct, Danny. Part B is correct. 9 hours sleep, 6 mistakes. Yeah, perfect, Yusuf. That's for part C. Awesome, Yusuf. Yeah, if you could start popping it on there, that'd be awesome. Maddie, correct for question B there. And Teresa, correct as well for the response variable and the explanatory variable, and also part B as well. You answered that correctly. Awesome. Gordon, you there?
Yeah, I was about to type in an answer.
All right, go for it. Go for it. Grace, Haley. Are you there? Grace. Haley.
Yeah, 1 sec. I'm trying to find a charger. My calculator just died on me.
Oh no. Okay. All good. Haley. All three, please. And I'll give you some feedback on it. So EV stands for the explanatory variable. And I'm going to write my E's in a very particular way, yeah? Explanatory variable. The focus there is our E. So which one?
So that A looks very scuffed. Can you fix it?
What's that? My E.
The A looks scuffed.
What, this one? I'm leaving it like that. Intended.
That's gonna be very annoying, so.
Deal with it. I drew it that way because the line, it shows which line we're supposed to look at. See the E there? Which idea is attached to that horizontal line? That will tell you what your explanatory variable is. Correct, Gordon. Fantastic. For part A and part B. And Haley, if you could type your answers in the chat as well, that'd be awesome. Force, correct. Oh. Six mistakes. Part A and part B and part C are correct, Haley. For part A, it's asking us which is the EV and which is the RV. So in terms of the EV, we're just focusing not on the number because they haven't actually asked us what this question yet. So in this question here, they're only asking us for the idea. Okay, just the idea. Nothing about which values, because there's a lot of values here, yeah? They're only asking for the ideas. So if you can just correct A, that'd be awesome. The individuals had 9 hours of sleep and made 6 mistakes on the test. Daniel is correct. Awesome. Perfect, Haley. That's it. So thumbs up, thumbs down. Rate this question. Okay. Now, this skill here is probably one of the most useful skills that you'll take with you further on. Because now in newspapers, if we don't even read newspapers anymore, if you read articles online or if you read memes, most of the time they'll actually show graphs, right? And our objective is to understand it, because if you can understand something like this, then you won't miss out on a joke, you won't miss out on a meme, and more importantly, you won't miss out on information, important information that might be of interest to you. It's all about this idea of research and doing your own research and understanding what goes on. Okay. Let's have a look at another question. I'm just going to clear all here for the annotations. Clear all. Bam. All right, let's go down to a particular question here. I think this one was a good one. Once you create your scatter plot here as an exercise, I want you to take a photo of it and email it to me. Okay. So once you've created your scatter plot, I want to see two things. I want you to take a photo of your table, and I also want you to take a photo of your scatter plot and then email it to me. I'll type my email here in the chat for everyone. Next year for further maths, you're going to be doing these exact same skills again. Okay. And you'll be learning this it'll be the first thing that you learn next year. This is what we call the core. So you don't get a choice to do this or not. This is going to be on the year 12 exam. If you can master these skills, and if you can understand what the explanatory variable and what your response variable is, then this will set you up well for next year and the exam. Yes, maybe over the holidays you might forget, but the second time you learn it, you'll pick it up more quickly. Okay, recall. It's not like all this knowledge goes out of your brain and you completely forget about it. Think of it as storage. It's just somewhere in the back of your mind. You just have to dig it up again. If you've done this question here as well, then have a look on Compass, and those are the questions that I want you to do. 1, 2, 3, basically all of them. The thing about data is that there's only so many ideas that they can write about. So if you do them all, again, the more practice you get, the better it is. In teaching, this is called a teaching strategy called multiple exposure. So if you see it more times, then you'll get more used to these questions here. Now, I don't want to delete these. I'm going to insert a new problem instead. So you can see that instead of 1, it goes to 2.1.
So how do you do that?
So doc, insert, problem. The reason why we do this is so that it doesn't get mixed up. It doesn't cross over. So if I actually stay on 1.4 and I just add a new page, the issue with that is if I want to type in time again, it's already been taken. Notice how it turned bold there, and I press enter. Actually, it won't even let me. There you go. If I press enter, it's actually going to take all those values there from before. So there's a clash. All right, Danny, I'll have a look. Oh, Gordon sent it through first. Thank you very much, Gordon. I have a look now. So Gordon, you sent it through for the time and the mark, right? I want you to do it for the next question. I want you to do it for question number 3. Can you do that, Gordon?
Yeah, my bad, sir.
All good, all good. Thank you. Oh, Danny, you're doing it on the computer software. That's cool as. Excellent. Yeah, perfect. Danny, I want you to go through and continue playing around with your CAS and do the other questions as well. Yeah, definitely. I agree. It's faster because you're typing on your keyboard. But I also want you to practice typing on your calculator as well, if you can. Only because next year, when you sit in the exam, you gotta get used to typing with those small buttons. So definitely something to consider for next year, and perhaps starting now as well. Okay. Is anyone having any issues with this here? Does anyone need any help? Some help? You can type to me in the chat and I'll help troubleshoot this for you. Control 7. So just a little hint here. You can see here, if you read at the bottom, I'm going to highlight this in blue because it's our circumstance. It's telling us how we should do the question. So use your calculator to construct a scatter plot. However, that's not the only thing. They want the variable height as the explanatory variable. And, so remember, and here is what we call a connector. Or connective. Which means that we need to do one other thing. We also need to look at the variable weight as the response variable. So a quick little brainstorm on the side there. If I wanted to just make sure I get it right, EV, remember E is at the bottom, okay? And RV, the vertical line there, will be your weight. Okay. Thank you, Teresa. Maddie as well. And if you write kilogram and instead of weight, do you get it wrong? So with the weight, the very good question. If you write the weight and you don't write weight, but you just write kg, and if you just, instead of height, you just write centimeters, I don't know. Maybe if I was strict, I would say no, like I would not give the mark there. The reason being, well, what's the difference between saying weight and kilograms? What's the difference between the two? What is the difference between the two?
One's length, the other one's how heavy something is. Is that what you mean, sir? Or
Sorry, between weight and kilogram. Like, what's the difference between those two ideas? Right, weight is not the unit. I've got Force typing in the chat there. Weight is not the unit, okay? If I said label the axes with the units, then you would just write centimeters or kilograms. But we want to focus on the idea, okay? Because if I just write kilogram, the other thing as well is like, we wouldn't know what we're talking about. True. If I just wrote kilogram, kilograms of what? It's not specific. True. So just another thing to consider as well. But if you write weight and then you put in brackets kilogram and height bracket centimeters, then that's good. You're including the units as well. So you know exactly what the numbers are talking about. The kilogram would be appropriate, correct unit to use. Yes, that's correct. So good to include both of them. Obviously on our graph here, we can't type in brackets and kilogram. That's fine. Just when you draw it out manually, we can do that. Okay, so we got our height at the horizontal axis, and our weight on our vertical axis. So I'm just having a look at the people who sent it to me. Oh, very good. Oh. Okay, Maddie, fantastic. And so, look, the more you type this into your calculator, the more scatter plots you create, the more fluent you will become with this. Excellent, Gordon, fantastic. So I'm just having a look at what people have shown me so far through the emails by taking photos of their work, and it's looking good, looking great. So now I'm going to give you some time to just do some independent practice, go through, complete these other questions as well. However, I just want to ask you here, what do you see here? Let's talk about straight lines, okay? Let's talk about straight lines. Does this look like it's following some sort of a pattern? Or do you reckon it's just random points all over the place?
No,
I just
it's
wanna extend.
increasing as the weight height increases.
Right. So can you make some sort of a conclusion? Can you draw some sort of a conclusion around this? In fact, you pretty much said it, yeah? The taller you are, the more you weigh. That's the general consensus. So, all right. Yeah, Matt, can you just copy and paste that and type it to everyone again? And Teresa, can you type it to everyone as well? Like copy and paste that comment and paste it to everyone. So this here starts to go into interpretation of these graphs, which is 7C. We'll cover that tomorrow. Okay, so we have to start interpreting these graphs, interpreting them. Thanks, Teresa. And Matt, can you also take your comment and paste it to everyone as well, please? Just so everyone can see. As the weight and height increase, so does the data. Wait. So this sentence here, I'm just going to critique it a bit, like give a bit of feedback. When you say so does the data, that means that as the weight and height increase, there's going to be more points. So perhaps I'll write this here. You can say instead, the data shows that okay. Do we call this a positive relationship or a negative relationship? Can you type in the chat, positive or negative? Are we going up or are we going down? All right, I've got a couple people saying positive, couple people saying negative. All right, so correct. So as we go further to the right, are we going up or are we going down? Yeah, if we're going up, then that's positive. Le positive. Positive. Whereas if we go down, however, that would be a negative graph or negative relationship. So we've done these straight lines before, early in the year. Okay. Okie day. Yep, so Uma said we can apply the rise and run formula. I'm gonna just make sure you type to in everyone. You can apply the rise and run formula to figure it out. Figure what out? What are you figuring out?
The gradient.
Correct. So from here, I'll show you a trick, and this is an extension onto next year as well. We can do a lot of cool things here. We can actually find out the equation of the line just by a couple of presses with a button. So if I go into, menu, if I want to analyze the graph, there's a thing called a regression. And you can see here, linear. In year 12, we use a plus bx, okay, instead of mx plus b.
It's
Which
the same
one's
thing,
which
isn't it?
value? Yeah, pretty much. It's just back to front, front to back. Which one's your gradient? Which value is your gradient? I'm also, wait, just give me a second. I'm going to change this to 2 decimal places. Document settings, and instead of float 6, Arafat, what should I change it to if I want 2 decimal places?
Fix 2.
Legend. That's it, man. You're the decimal specialist. All right. And don't click make default, just press OK. Can you see what's happened to the numbers here? Ta-da, 2 decimal places. So which one here is our gradient? Have a look, think back now. Is it -39? Or is it 0.60? Wait, what do you mean by the x value? Yeah, it's the coefficient. What does coefficient mean?
Next to the letter.
Sorry, Matt.
Next to the letter.
Is it just next to the letter? Be more
In
specific.
front. Or behind. I don't know. I always get mixed up by saying in front and behind. To the left.
To the left, but be more specific. Is it just behind the letter? What is it? Is it a letter behind the letter or a number behind the letter?
The number that is behind the letter.
Okay. Yep, the number or the value. The coefficient is the value. You got to be more specific, right? Rather than just describing the position of where it is. Okay. Uma revamped it and said the number placed behind the variable. Which variable? Be more specific. Because this is the variable. There's no number behind there. I mean, there is. It's a 1. Okay, so you have to be very specific. And notice as you throw this out, the value next to the letter. Okay, correct, Theresa. Just having a look through here. So be careful here. If we say the x value is the gradient, the value that is behind the x variable is the gradient. Okay, awesome. Now, the thing is though, we've got y and x, like you said, Matthew, we've got y and x here. But which ones, what does our x variable represent? What idea is it? Right, so I can actually rewrite this. I shouldn't be writing y and x. I should be writing, instead of y, what should we write?
Wait.
So we've got y equals -39.05 plus 0.60 x. Correct. We need to replace it with the actual ideas. So we've got weight, which is on our y-axis. You can see here on our vertical axis here. That's our y. Equals to -39 plus 0.05. Oh, sorry, 0.05 plus 0.6 times
Height.
height. Correct. Thank you, Teresa. Thumbs up or thumbs down? This is just a bit of an extension here. I'm giving you a bit of a taste tester for next year as well. So when you come across this, you can really, you're going to be playing around with the CAS a lot next year. Adele, very nice. Now it seems like it's 2:33. Can I get you to continue practicing this? Finish this before tomorrow, so that tomorrow we can start having a look at 7C, which is how to interpret a scatter plot. And if we're doing well for time, we might even get into 7D. I won't give you holiday homework. The only reason is because you've worked really hard, and I can see that you've been consistently going through, you know, attending classes and everything as well. So I really appreciate that. And I want you to have a big break as well, okay? When we get into term 4, we're gonna smash it out. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Oh, maybe I should listen to Mr. Musgrove.
Bro, give Musgrove the homework.
Mr. Musgrave is delusional right now. He's dreaming.
Dreaming. Yusuf, you're gonna do all the homework, yeah?
Yeah, I will. I'll put it down on my whiteboard to make sure I do it. It's literally like
Do
write
list.
tasks, but nothing's under it.
You guys have got
Hey,
nothing else to
everyone-
do. You're stuck at home.
Still
a bit of maths.
I'm just hoping next term is like we come back to school because it's getting really annoying